we started a YouTube channel called Dammitilost.
I don't know why Matt and Joe hired me. I think they just wanted to produce it to sound fancy.
The not so wonderfuls always kind of freak me out a bit.
Have you ever tried to wash with a bar of soap that's covered in shit?
Then we just started arguing about the stupidest things.
All the drama, all the tension, about to come out in full force. Of course, pride and joy, fruits of our labour here, with these apples, you know, and always, they're always good to eat. Really tasty, it's nothing like homegrown.
I'm pretty much at peace now, so... Oh. What? I said have those papers on my desk by Monday. You're fired. I don't care if you've got 5 kids to feed, you're fired.
We took a little Christmas break, and to be frank, I didn't feel like going back. I was done with Matt. I didn't want to see him, didn't want to hear him. I sure as hell didn't want to smell him. By God, he stunk.
I was done with the channel at this point, After New Year, I just didn't want to go in. People were rejecting my ideas. Joe was challenging me at every turn. So neither of us ended up returning in the new year.
They just didn't show up to set one day, so we had nothing to film. We had to improvise, so we uploaded a scrap video that never made it to YouTube.
But do you believe that this so-called entity contains the right amount of chemical to survey the rest of the land?
I would have to say no.
After that, we had nothing left to upload, so we got in the Not So Wonderfuls to record something.
Butt in the air, face on the floor.
Then this weird guy came up to me. He had this scarf and this colourful hat and said, "Hello," and a really annoying high-pitched voice.
And then, that's when we had the genius idea of tricking Matt and Joe into filming.
So we found shelter. It is a bench. Well, a log bench, whatever you want to call it. I don't know where Joe is. Hey Joe! What? The shelter's over here.
Oh, okay.
So they told us both that they wanted us to start a solo channel. Do a Bear Grylls survival type thing in the woods. But obviously when we got there we saw each other and we freaked out. But they left and we just sucked it up and made a video.
Are you eating my lucky banana?
No.
How could you, Joe?
This is just the other banana.
It's my lucky banana.
I found it in a tree. Yeah.
I think secretly we both thought it was kind of fun though.
I hated that day. It ruined that forest. I used to be an avid camper, before we filmed that video. Every time I see a tree now, I want to drink myself into oblivion. And the real kicker is that our producer Craig, he made us share a fucking tent. The whole thing was a nightmare.
Another day dawns in the woodland area.
After that we agreed to, keep filming, but we hated being on set with each other.
Honestly, a few minutes on set was enough for me around that time. I just didn't feel like, being on set with Matt. Hell, before filming, I had to give myself pep talks in the mirror. That's how low we sunk.
We ended up just filming a tiny little bit, and then leaving. And that's how the mini sketches was born.
It was tough, only being able to record a tiny bit at a time, but we managed to make it work by stitching all the mini sketches together. Us producers are genius, to be honest.
Hello, and welcome to Dammitilost Film Reviews. Today we're reviewing cling film.
Yeah, a ham and cheese sandwich. I insist, I will stay here.
I insist I'm going to stay right here.
I will stay right here in my stagnant pee until you go in there.
And then we were hit with what we thought was the final nail in the coffin of the channel. Donald from the Not So Wonderfuls died.
Everybody remembers what they were doing when Donald died. Or was it MacDonald and they'd run out of cheese? Sorry. Just a sec.
It was horrible. A couple of months before his death, Donald had a run-in with the law. He was arrested in Los Angeles for drunken disorderly behaviour. We kind of knew at that point that he was going a bit downhill.
To try and revive the channel a little bit, you know, the producers thought they'd give the Not So Wonderfuls another few episodes. But during filming of the first one, Donald had a freak out on set.
What the actual fuck is this? What do you mean I'm not in the scene? This is Not So fucking Wonderfuls. I'm Donald, for crying out loud. I should be in every scene.
Donald, calm down.
I carry this whole group on my shoulders.
Donald.
None of you will be here without me, you hooligans. You absolute fools.
Donald, calm down.
You're nothing without me. Don't you get it? I'm Donald. I'm motherfucking Donald.
Just calm down. And we'll
No.
talk.
No, don't tell me to calm down. You calm down. You calm down and rewrite the script so I'll actually edit. Why am I even here if I'm not in the scene, huh?
Look,
What the hell?
You're in the next scene.
You know what? I'm done. I'm done with this shit. No.
Donald, come on.
No.
Come on, Donald.
I quit.
Donald.
I'm done.
Jesus Christ. His outburst scared us all, you know? We didn't know what to do. We all just kind of stood there awkwardly while he screamed. Except for Hood, who just stands there awkwardly all the time anyway. And little did we know that day, but that'd be the last time any of us would ever see him.
Turns out he was incredibly drunk and his showbiz ego had taken over. He ended up storming off set, getting in his car and rapping around the nearest tree, if you catch my drift. If you know what I mean. If you get the picture. He died in a horrible drunk driving accident, is what I'm trying to say.
Donald's death was heartbreaking.
I am sad about Donald's death. You know, he was a good friend when we were filming.
Donald's death. In one word, it was tragic. In multiple words, tragic, but pretty funny. He died as he lived, screaming in agony.
I wasn't really that bothered when Donald died. I mean, I know that's a terrible thing to say. It was a horrible event and everything, but man, he was annoying and creepy and a little deranged.
He was always very strange, but in a kind of lovable way, you know? His voice was pretty annoying, but that was the only thing.
It was so hard to believe that such a lovable on-screen guy turned out to be such an aggressive drunk. They say that Hollywood does that to you. I guess a small YouTube video does as well.
Tell us about Donald's death.
No comment.
I have nightmares most nights about Donald's death. Sometimes I think I'm responsible for it. Like, if I hadn't hired the whole group, Donald wouldn't have developed his showbiz ego, leading to his alcoholism, leading to his fatal accident. But it's not entirely my fault, right? If I hadn't hired them, somebody else would have hired them for a different gig. So it would have happened either way, right? Right?
Donald's up there now, annoying God with his shrill voice.
We had to take some time to recover, of course. We were so upset and distraught, we didn't know how we could go on after losing such a big member of our channel. It's horrible.
It put a lot of things in perspective, to be honest. Like, how should a normal human voice sound? I gotta say, you know, but quiet, it made filming almost tolerable.
I appeared in Mini Sketches 3 Part 1 and Part 2. It was an interesting experience. It was very tense on set. At that point they really hated each other. Could barely go a full scene without someone ended up in a chokehold. Didn't matter who. I did manage to calm them down a bit though. I actually credit myself as the person who got them back on track and made 2014 the best year in Dammitilost history.
Haydn is a special little boy. He helped get our channel back on track. Casting him in Mini Sketches 3 was the best thing we could have ever done.
Ah, yeah. See, Aiden's a decent fella, you know. Yeah, I think he breathed quite a bit more life into the channel.
How did I do it? I just googled conflict resolution, went down a bit of a rabbit hole of information, and accidentally got a degree in psychology. And I just sat them both down and said, guys, what the hell? And just stared at them for a bit while they spill out all their feelings. Within 5 minutes they were crying and hugging each other.
This isn't my bathroom.
He's a fantastic guy. He's actually the wallpaper on my phone.
Do you know that most of his lines are actually improvised? Yeah, I wish we kept him on.
Oh, Joe, you're going really high.
I was always so jealous about everybody who got to work with them. I'm actually an aspiring actress myself. I tried getting an audition a few times, but their producer said no, stop coming to my house, please leave me alone. If this keeps happening, I'll call the police. You know, those kind of things.
Oh, that girl. She was terrifying. An aspirational actress? No. A stalker? Probably. Clinically insane? I'm pretty sure.
2014 was a great year. Some really great stuff came out then. It just seemed like everything was getting back on track. They were bringing out some really good stuff.
I do agree that 2014 was the best year in Dammitilost history. I mean, not least because that's, you know, when I was born, and also when I met Matt for the first time.
Okay, well, I suppose it's finally time to reveal how we made the clones.
Like I said before, we got very, very, very into the occult.
What we did was we found an abandoned factory. You know, somewhere we would never be found. The producers found it for us.
We went through a lot of old books, some which were in the library, others we had to get on things like Craigslist and Amazon, others we had to find old, dusty, forgotten catacombs.
You take a huge vat of, it's this chemical compound, it's called clonium, which I know is very on the nose, but that's just what they called it, that's what it's for.
Most of the workmen we had when digging up those tombs, they died. They couldn't take the Egyptian sun, the jungle may have got to them.
Pubic hair, nose hair, ear hair, anywhere on your body, it has to be a hair.
We had to kill most of the witnesses. And bring them back to life, you know, waste not one lot.
You just leave it to simmer for 45 minutes at, you know, about 180 degree heat.
But anyway, we got to that altar. That's the main thing in Borneo, this altar at this temple.
They rise up from the vat before your eyes.
You put your hand in, and it pricked my finger.
I'll come out, and it doesn't look like you at all.
It kept spinning around. And finally, when it spun round, I saw a perfect version of myself.
But then, it starts to look like you.
One of the reasons why we made them American, too much Conway Twitty.
The eyes are the most important part. The ears, Joe's big bald head.
But yeah, they came from our blood in the ancient Bornean temple.
And that's how the clones came to be.
Best weekend of my life, I think.
I might have created a stalker clone.
A stalker clone?
You know, a clone that gets obsessed with people really quickly. Hi, I'm Stalker Clone. I was one of the first clones, and Matt accidentally made me to stalk him.
Hello, I'm Detective Clone.
And I'm Evil Murderer Clone.
I'm Homeless Clone, and this is my house.
Dammitilost. More like drama I lost. Am I right? So, because there's so much drama. Oh, just before we start the questions, pick a card.
We're like a cat and a mouse, you and I. I'm the cat, constantly chasing a bloodthirsty, evil, murderer mouse.
And I suppose, yes, in that scenario, I am the mouse, always lighting off rockets and firing it at the cat, and maybe sometimes using a cheese grater against his advantage.
I also shed hair.
Obviously, I was always Team Matt, because he's the love of my life. Team Matt, Team Joe, more like Team him with drama, because there was so much drama. Was this your card? No?
The thing with Danao Clone, right, is that he had this really short but very thick penis. Like, it was wider than it was long. Like, it made me dizzy just looking at it.
Why were you looking at your clone's penis?
I was curious. I mean, wouldn't you be?
Well, doesn't it just look like yours?
What are you trying to say?
Please introduce yourself.
I don't really think I can do that.
Do you have an incredibly short and wide penis?
No.
We have an eyewitness account that you do.
No, you don't. You really don't. No one's seen my penis. I haven't even seen my penis. I don't know what my penis looks like. I don't even know what a penis is.
So, I appeared in the first Game of Clones video, which is, of course, a historic moment for the Dammitilost channel. Well, you see, it was the first real debut of the clones, you know, unless you count the little appearance of Gosh darn, I seem to misplaced all those years before. But, I mean, no one really knew they were clones. They made me, and they made Homeless Clone, and we were the first two clones.
They needed me. They wanted me for a skit, and that's what I came to be. They just abandoned me, just threw me on the street, and filmed it.
Can I try on your suit? What does your sign say? Can have a bit of your skin to keep in a box until the end of time.
Matt, you're acting a bit weird.
Joe, that's not me. It's Stalker Clone.
Well, it was a lot of fun. Apart from the fact that, you know, Matt hated me, even though I love him, and I want some of his hair. Just a bit of his hair.
Ooh, your hair looks lovely. Can I have it? You already have it. 2014 was a good year for Dammitilost. Things were starting to look up.
They just made so many good videos that year.
2014 was the last good year of Dammitilost. Everything post 2014 was bad. They started phoning it all in.
In Mini Sketches 4, we had another guest. His name was Dougie J.
I could punch a bear straight in the nose, Everybody knows that be how it goes. Man, I'll fight a bear. Yeah, I'll wrestle it. I'll fight anything.
Do I look like all like candid and stuff? You know, like I'm just kind of here.
The angle's fine.
Like I want to make it look like I like belong here. Hey, my name's Dougie J, and I'm a rapper, singer, artist, just all around cool guy.
You see, Dougie would always give me this weird look on set. Like he'd just be standing there, staring at me. Even off set, right? Even when we're not filming, I get these random Skype calls from him, and those times when I would answer, okay, he'd just be staring into the camera, just breathing heavily. I mean, it turns out it was just incredibly high, like 24/7 at the time, but fuck me, it threw me off my game. It really just creeped me out, got under my skin.
Back then, he wasn't the amazing rapper and artist that you see today, you know, he was just this young, nervous guy who wanted to teach people how to play piano. Something he definitely couldn't do. That is all the notes in the scale of C.
So one day I was in the street teaching piano to some children. Their parents came and got them afterwards, and they didn't pay me, which was, you know, sad, but all in a day's work. Anyway, Matt and Joe saw me. I think at this point they were so tense with each other that, you know, they needed other characters and other people to just come in. So they hired me for Mini Sketches 4. Or alternatively, you can do to show that you're finished because your hands are free.
Then Dave Moneygrabber comes along. He sees Dougie J in our video and, for whatever reason, sees his potential as a rapper, artist, singer, whatever. Certainly not a pianist. And it looks like Dougie might hit the big time.
So I'm Dave Moneygrabber, owner of Moneygrabber Records, a sole owner of Dammitilost, and the manager of Dougie J.
He saw potential in me, but not as a pianist, as a rapper, singer, artist. He said I was a really bad pianist.
I saw potential. I saw a spark, you know. That little guy who was wasted over there. You know, he was wasted on that thing. So I decided, you know, I'd step in and aid in acquiring the rights and making sure that that spark wasn't squandered.
Yeah, I never liked that Dave fella, you know. He was way too full of himself and far too money hungry. Dave Moneygrabber, more like Dave Money Hungry, am I right? Oh, we'll cut that part, okay? We'll cut out.
No, we need is your face. Everywhere.
This Dave guy seemed like a big deal. But he also caused the second downfall of our channel.
I was excited to see that Matt had branched out to do a side project, but then he didn't even cast Joe in the co-lead role.
It's fucking petty of him.
In the first scene where Joe's character punches mine, that wasn't a stunt, he really punched me in the stomach.
I was drinking anything I could get my hands on.
Dave took us to court.
We had security there, with the strict instructions. Don't let those two clowns in.